Playing the trial of Finer versus New York and DeJong versus Oregon. How do these two court cases pertain to freedom of assembly? There you go. All right, so Finer versus New York video kind of described that already. What do we have? What do we got? What was this court case all about? Jeffrey, since you couldn't remember President Truman yesterday, what do you got?
Finer v. New York was all about minors using his freedom of speech to stir up public disturbance. With that, New York City decided to arrest him. He took this all the way to Supreme Court, where they ruled that he was creating a clear and present danger for the streets of New York, and his trial stood that he was open.
All right, yeah. So New York, he was trying to, well, in Syracuse, New York, he was trying to really backlash and talk bad about President Truman, the mayor, because of racial inequality. And this was causing a disruption within the audience, the people that were listening to his freedom of speech. And with that being said, the police stepped in, took him off the stand, and arrested him. And he was trying to fight and saying that they can't just take away his freedom of assembly, freedom of speech. What was the issue with it? What was the issue? What was the issue, Tanner?
He was asking protesters to take up arms against the government.
Yeah, good job. So he was pretty much trying to incite some sort of violence with his speech, with his expression. And that's kind of why that led to him being limited in his freedom of his speech and his expression assembly. Because in many ways, he was trying to incite violence, right? And how he was telling people to take up arms against the government in this type of situation here. All right. So again, police officer said, well, we're not going to take away your freedom of expression or really, your ability to express yourselves. But if you are trying to incite danger or any type of hostility, well, then it can be limited. All right. What about Dijon versus Oregon? What do we have here? What do we got here? What do you got? Sarah, go ahead.
The court found that the
Dijon.
had the right to organize a conference at its meetings, even under like industrial or political change in the revolution. The court held that the 14th Amendment due process clause applies.
Yeah, good job. Good job. So in Oregon, he was trying to assemble for his left-wing ideology, right? Communist ideology. And as he was assembling this group, okay, and we all know with the radical takeover of businesses, industries, and maybe how the working class should rise up against the business and maybe even the government. So police kicked the door open and said, oh, you're just trying to incite violence. You're trying to create anarchy on the streets. And throughout this time period between really the world wars, there was this fear of communism. Okay, we all talked about the Sedition Act already at the end of World War I. And this kind of led to this increased paranoia, right? Is there going to be an uprising? Is there going to be a revolt or rebellion? And the police thought, well, we can take him out of action here and prevent maybe any type of chaos or anarchy. And obviously, he's allowed to associate with people with the same viewpoints, political ideology, as long as he's not causing any harm, if he's not causing any danger to anyone else, and if he's not trying to really overthrow the government here. So his was actually reversed, his court case, because he wasn't inciting danger. He wasn't inciting any type of harm. It was just to the point where this fear, this paranoia of overthrowing the government and maybe trying to topple this idea of capitalism, right, was just fearful in the United States at this point. All right, so how do these two court cases pertain to freedom of assembly? Terrence, how does it pertain to it?
Ended up having to take away some of their rights to their freedom of assembly to have like a group because of certain things that they did, like the riot, possibly causing a riot.
Okay, all right, yeah. So if it's maybe causing harm, causing danger, or a riot, then yeah, freedom of assembly can be limited. So in this case, obviously, in these two cases, if there's any type of harm that might occur or might happen, then their freedom of assembly could be limited. But you can't just take people away from any type of social groups they're looking to join, right? Again, as long as it's peaceful, as long as it's not causing any harm. That makes sense? Okay, all right. No vocab terms for today, but I have an assignment for you. I'd like you guys to work on it. We'll review it about freedom of assembly. And we talked about petitions yesterday and how that is important to have, obviously, if you're trying to assemble, to make sure that the community knows where these assemblies are going to occur. And if people that maybe don't view the same viewpoint as you, they can hear your perspective or they can just avoid it. All right, let's see here. Where's it at? All right, so the assignment, bottom of modules. whenever it decides to load here. All right, so here it is. Does the assembly deserve a permit? Click on that. Let me go over the directions with you guys quick. So this is going to give a couple scenarios where you have to determine whether or not maybe it's right for the assembly, if they need a permit. Okay, so determine which you think would require a permit, which would you probably be against the law, and which would be held with no limitations at all. So there's a few scenarios there I'd like you guys to look through, think about it, and just put an answer down. Again, opinionated, we'll go over it and we'll explain maybe the reasoning behind those decisions. All right, there we go. Like I said, we'll review over it at the end of class here, towards the end of class. How about I give you like 10 minutes? 15, 12, whatever.